Dragon Ball Super comes out in English today, and boy am I freaking hype. And because I'm hype, that means you get a Dragon Ball video. There are 15 films that carry the Dragon Ball Z title on them, and I'm going to be looking at all of them based on their saga. Today we're going to start with the films that came out during the Saiyan Saga, and the others will follow suit, ending with a review of Dragon Ball Xenoverse 1 and 2. Are you guys as excited as I am? I sure hope so, or else I'm just coming off as pathetic right now. Also know that when reviewing these films, I watched the most recent release of the films done by Funimation. While I know a lot of people would disagree, they are my personal favorite voice casts. While I do enjoy the Ocean dub, I just don't feel they have the same amount of experience that the modern day Funimation team does.
I will not let you destroy my world!
And they are leagues above whoever let this monstrosity happen.
Answer me. Who are you?
It's Big Green!
Let that child alone.
Anyway, let's get started. Out of everything on this list, this film is the easiest to grasp. It was the first Dragon Ball Z film to come out when the show started, and because of that, it takes a lot of cues from the original Dragon Ball rather than what Dragon Ball Z became. The Dead Zone starts with Garlic Jr. attempting to murder Piccolo, later revealed to be using the Dragon Balls to get immortality. Please remember that. In the process of gathering the Dragon Balls, they kidnap Gohan, leading Goku straight to them. This film has an entirely different tone and style from the more popular films that Dragon Ball has produced. And that is because it came out so early in Dragon Ball Z's life. While it still does have the flashy ki blast attacks, they are done in a lot less frequency, leading up to a lot of fights playing more like they did in the original Dragon Ball, which is pretty cool. Every single one is built up immensely, making you feel the power of them. They're all really well choreographed and animated as well. It's also awesome actually seeing Goku use the power pole, something that we never really actually got to see in the Dragon Ball Z series. And Garlic Jr. is also a pretty cool villain as well, the son of the runner-up to the title of Kami. He is one of the few villains that actually have a lot of development behind him. And to me, that's why he stands out. He's also a really terrifying villain because we know his power. Until recently, he's the only one in Dragon Ball history to successfully wish for immortality. That wish alone makes me fear Garlic Jr.'s power. But the main problem with the movie stems from its story. And trust me, that's something you'll probably be hearing a lot throughout this review series. If you don't know the Dragon Ball mythos too well, then this probably won't bother you at all. But remember that quick summary I wanted you to remember? The film opens with Garlic Jr. and his crew attempting to kill Piccolo in order to kill Kami. Yet their end goal is to use the Dragon Balls. You know, after killing Kami. Which makes the Dragon Balls useless.
So you tried to have me killed, then use the Dragon Balls.
What? Yeah, what? Oh, shit.
But yeah, if you can look past that major plot hole, this is a really enjoyable Dragon Ball movie that takes more or less after the original series rather than the full-on intensity of Z. This gets a 6 out of 10. The World's Strongest is easily one of the weirdest Dragon Ball Z movies ever, and I mean that in a great way. In this, Oolong and Gohan are looking for whoever are collecting the Dragon Balls. A lot of the other movies have Goku fighting Saiyans or androids or shit that we've already seen him do before. The villain of this movie is probably the strangest out of all of them, and the film itself is also very odd. Like the random minute-and-a-half dream sequence that Gohan has, and if you watch the Japanese version, it's a fucking musical.
I have several questions.
But that's what kind of adds to the charm to the movie. This one stands out because it is so different and unique. It does have some of the same problems that Dead Zone has, where it just seems kind of forced in order to give Goku an excuse to fight people. But what I like about it, and it's something that the other Dragon Ball Z movies do as well, they deliver fan service to moments that we never really get in the anime. Like the successful use of the Spirit Bomb. It's used here to finally destroy Dr. Wheelo, whereas in the anime we had to wait almost 200 episodes for it to be used against Majin Buu. But that doesn't mean I would recommend it if you're not already a Dragon Ball fan. It has a lot of moments that can only be really fun for people who are already invested in the franchise. And if you are a new fan of Dragon Ball, trust me, there'll be plenty of films down the line that I'll tell you about that make a great introductory point for the series. But this isn't it. But if you are a dedicated fan, I wholeheartedly recommend it. This gets a 7 out of 10. Alright, this is where the series becomes a lot less Dragon Ball and more Dragon Ball Z. Tree of Might has a Saiyan named Turles planting a tree that sucks the energy out of the planet. It is up to the Z Fighters to stop Turles and destroy the tree before the planet dies. I can easily say that this is the furthest from the best film of the series. Turles is an interesting concept for a villain, but they do absolutely nothing with him. I mean, he's essentially an evil Goku for Christ's sake. But they don't ever really explain it, minus a half-assed piece of dialogue that's just kind of thrown in there. At least they reused the evil Goku concept and it turned out well. They easily could have designed another Saiyan and put him in there and it would have had no impact to the overall story. That being said, I really enjoy Turles as a villain, and I feel that this is the first time that our heroes were actually challenged within the film series. He's just not as well developed as an evil twin of Goku should be. Even after a while, the film doesn't know what to do with Turles, leading him to literally winning the fight against Goku. In this film, Goku makes 2 spirit bombs, one that instantly fails and one that instantly works. Now, I know that within the world of the film, there are reasons on why it worked, but for the larger film, all it did was add another 5 to 10 minutes of screen time that didn't need to happen. This film is what starts something I hate about the Dragon Ball series, something I like to call the Goku Ex Machina. Goku Ex Machina is when the writers just give up in the middle of the movie and let Goku win because he's Goku. They pull something out of their ass and just let it happen. Admittedly, it's usually badass, but it still kind of feels cheap, and this movie definitely uses the Goku Ex Machina. I did enjoy the art of the film, however. It was very bleak and full of great imagery of death. It adds this weird hopelessness to the fights themselves. And that's something I'm just going to continually praise throughout this entire review series, the art of the movies. The bigger budget for these movies shows, especially when you compare them to a lot of the anime episodes. While it's not the best film, I will say that it is enjoyable if you just want more Dragon Ball. It's a time when Dragon Ball Z was finally getting its footing, but it was still a time before Super Saiyans. So while the fights are still big and rowdy, there's still this simplicity to them that the later episodes of Z do not have. This gets a 6 out of 10. Alright, those are all the movies I consider to be in the Saiyan Saga. Tune in next time and I'll tell you about the movies of the Maniac Saga. And don't forget to watch Dragon Ball Super. Honestly, it's a brand new story and it's a great way to get introduced to the series. And I will see you guys next time.